Welcome to UCD Library's introductory video for EndNote 20 for Windows. If you're a Mac user and have found yourself here by mistake, please return to the UCD Library EndNote guide. If you don't know where that guide is, we've included a link in the description below. In this video, we will show you where you can find and install EndNote 20 from. We'll show you how to create an EndNote library. We'll make sure you know how to add references manually for books and articles you can't find online. We'll show you how to add references from online sources such as OneSearch, databases, and even Google Scholar. If you've downloaded a load of PDFs for your research, we'll show you how you can use those PDFs to build up your library as well. And once you've built up your library with your references, we'll show you how you can organize your references using groups to put some order on your collection. And we will then show you how you can use Word to insert the references from your EndNote library into a Word document and in the referencing style that you want to use. While EndNote contains thousands of different referencing styles, we'll show you how you can add extra referencing styles and also highlight some UCD specific referencing styles such as Harvard and Vancouver. So you can watch this video from start to finish. We have included a guide and a worksheet which are available on the library EndNote guide, but we've also included a link to them in the description below. And you can use those in conjunction with the video. So our advice is to listen to a section and then use the worksheet to work through what we've done to make it more real and tangible for you. So, and then you can continue on again. Alternatively, if you are just looking to refresh a certain part of the procedure and using EndNote, if you look at the description below, you'll see that we have links to the various sections in the video. So just click on the section that you're interested in and you will be brought to that straight away. How do you add EndNote 20 to your own computer? Well, first of all, go to UCD Connect and click on Software Download. If you're asked to log in using your UCD Connect details. If you're a staff member, click Staff. If you are a student, click on Student. Click on Staff. Scroll on down until you see EndNote and look for EndNote 20. Click on the icon and EndNote 20 is going to download in a what they call a compressed file or a zip folder. And it's important that you extract the contents of this zip file to your own computer. And all you do is when it's finished downloading, click on it. It'll pop open and you'll see inside there's another folder called EndNote 20-UCD. Just drag that to your desktop. And when you're finished, you can minimize everything till you can see your desktop. And you'll see there's a new folder on your desktop, the EndNote 20. Open that. And you'll see it contains two files. You'll see a .msi file and a license file. To install EndNote, just click on the .msi file, and that will install EndNote to your computer. It's very important that when you're doing this, you do not have Microsoft Office, particularly Word and PowerPoint, open. Make sure they're fully shut down, because that can stop the Cite While You Write tool from installing properly on your computer. So make sure that you have copied the contents of the zip folder to your desktop before you install EndNote. So how do I create a new EndNote library? It's very simple. All you do is go to the File menu in the top left-hand corner and click on New. Make sure you give your library a distinctive name. So I'm going to call this Dermot, so I know what it is, but I'm also going to make sure I remember where I save it so I can find it again. So in this case, I'm going to save it to the desktop and then I click Save. So this here is your brand new empty library, and we're going to show you in a few minutes how you can start adding references to this library. But before we do that, we're going to make sure you know one of the aspects of an EndNote library. And to do that, I'm just going to minimize my library and go to the desktop, and you'll see there on the desktop is my EndNote library. There's a file called dermot.enl, but you'll also notice there's a folder called dermot.data. EndNote will save any PDFs and any other files associated with your library in that folder. You don't need to go near it. If you're moving your library from one computer to another, you need to bring both parts with you. So it's really important that you do that. So the first way of adding references to your EndNote library we're going to show you today is what we call the manual method. And this allows you to add references haven't been able to find in an online source to your EndNote library yourself. And it's a very simple process. All you do is you go to the very top of EndNote, look for the references menu, and select new references. A new pop-up screen will appear with what looks like a long list of fields to fill in, but don't worry, there are only certain fields that you need to fill in every occasion. Before you start typing any information in, you have to decide what kind of reference you are dealing with. And you'll see at the moment it defaults to journal title, but if I click on that, you'll see a lot more referencing types there as well. If you look at the worksheet that accompanies this video, you'll see we have an example for you to work on, and it's a book. So all I have to do is select on book, and the fields will change on the screen, allowing you to insert a book yourself. So the author's name for this book is Roddy Dial, so you can type it in Roddy Dial, or alternatively, you can go Dial, Roddy. Make sure you don't obviously put it in Roddy, Dial, or that will confuse EndNote completely. If you have a second author, just put it onto a new line. And if you have 5, 10, 15 authors, you need to put them all in. The only time that it doesn't go in as Dial, Roddy is if you're dealing with what's called a corporate author. So if this was a book that was written by University College Dublin, you put it in University College Dublin, and then put a comma at the end. This will make sure that EndNote will display the author correctly in the references at a later stage. If you don't put the comma there, it's going to think Dublin is the surname, and it'll just look quite unusual in your reference list. So what other information do we have for this author? So let's just put Dial, Roddy back in again. We know that the year is 1990. We know that the title is The Snapper. We know the place is it's published is in London, and we know that the publisher's name is Secker and Warburg. And that's all the information you have for that book. So all you have to do then is just click on Save, and then you can click on the little X there, and you'll see you now have one reference in your EndNote library. On the right-hand side, we have this area where you can view a summary of your reference, and you can see here that's just a summary, and down here you can see what it looks like with your chosen referencing style. If you go to the drop-down menu, you'll see loads of other styles, and if the style you want to use is not listed there, just click on select another style, and there's loads of styles there. So for example, if I wanted this in Vancouver, all I have to do is just type in Vancouver, click enter, and you pick the one that's most relevant to you, highlight it, click choose, and it'll change immediately on the screen for you. If you realize you've made some mistakes and you want to quickly edit them, you can click on the edit button and all the fields are there. So if you've got the city London wrong, you could change it, whatever you want to do, and then click on save again. We'll have a look at the PDF section a bit later on when it is relevant. So we've shown you how to manually add references. The next way we're going to show you is how to import references from online sources, and that is also very easy to do. So we're back here on the library homepage, and we're going to search OneSearch for any references dealing with James Joyce, and we're going to import a few of those. So once I've typed in James Joyce, I just click on Go. And we get our results. You can import multiple references simply by clicking on this folder icon beside the references that you're interested in. So if I click on save this item, save this item, save this item, and you'll see it turns red and also will say saved item. On the top right-hand corner of the screen, it may be hidden by my picture. You'll see a large folder and it'll have the number 3 beside it. Just click on that large folder and it'll list the 3 references that I have selected. And then all you have to do is click on Export To, select EndNote. Because we're using the Chrome browser here, if you look down the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a file after appearing. It's called export-endnote, and there's a number after it. To get those references into my EndNote library, all I have to do is click on that file. And if I go back to EndNote, those references are going to be there. So it's very simple to get your references in. You've seen how easy it is to bring in references from OneSearch, and it's very similar from databases. I've gone here into the Science Direct, one of our largest journal providers, and I'm going to do a quick search and show you how easy it is to export your references. So I'm going to search for James Joyce again. Click on search. There will always be some way of selecting your references. Here it's a little tick box beside the references you're interested in. And then you look on the screen for something that says save or export. Here we have export as an option. There's our selected 4 references, and you look for the EndNote option to export to, like we did in OneSearch. If it doesn't explicitly say EndNote, look for an option that says RIS, because EndNote can open RIS. Click on RIS, because once again, we're using Chrome. You'll see down in the bottom left-hand corner, there's the file that we just saved, and this time it's called Science Direct. Click on that, and it's going to import those references into your EndNote library. And then you can do everything that you were able to do when you brought your references from OneSearch. Once again, it's your responsibility to make sure that everything is okay, to check that all the correct information is there. EndNote is not going to do that for you. So that's a core responsibility for you. So by now we've shown you 2 ways of adding references to our EndNote library. We've shown you how to do it manually, and we've shown you how to import references from online sources such as OneSearch or databases. The last way we're going to show you is how to import references using PDFs you've already saved to your folder. Before you do this process, you should add all your PDFs into the one folder, so you only have to do it once. And when you're ready, just go to File, Import, and Folder. Choose the file or the folder that you've added all your PDFs to. Mine is on the desktop, and I've even called it PDFs to make it easy to find. If you've got folders within folders, make sure you click on Include Files in Subfolders. Make sure PDF is the import option. If you think that you might have brought the same references in more than once, make sure you click on Discard Duplicates to get rid of any duplicate PDFs. And when you're ready, just click on Import. This can take some time. So if you have a lot of references, I recommend this is something that you can do before you go for coffee or you go for lunch. And you can see the progress bar here. I have about 6 references that I'm importing here from the PDFs. And if you look, you'll see it's divided into 2 sections. The bottom section looks pretty familiar to what we've already seen from references we brought in from online sources. The top 3 look very different. And this is because EndNote is looking for what is called the DOI, or the Digital Object Identifier. And this is a unique number that describes any article. The bottom 3 references had the DOI embedded in the PDF. The top 3 didn't. So all EndNote is able to do is import the PDF, but doesn't have any of the bibliographic information because the DOI is not there. So for these top 3, you would have to go and search for them online or manually enter them into your EndNote library. So by this stage, we've shown you the 3 ways of adding references to your EndNote library. So now we're going to show you how you can organize your references. So here are, in the center of our screen, are all our references. And on the left-hand column, you'll see My Groups and a smaller My Groups underneath that. So if you right-click on the smaller My Groups and click on Create Group, you'll see a new group appearing. And you can name this. I'm going to give it my name. You can give it the name of a module, a topic, it's up to you. And then when I'm back in my references, in the center there, I can select any references I want to add to that group. If you hold down the control button when you're clicking, you can select references that are not beside each other. And then just click on the bold links, and then with the left mouse button, and then you can just drag them and drop them into that group you've just created. If you click on that group, then you'll just be able to see those 4 references, in this case, that I've saved to the group. You can create as many groups as you want, and you can even add the same reference to many groups. You're not creating multiple instances of that reference. You're just tagging it with the name of that group. So we have filled up our EndNote library with all our references. It is really important to remember that EndNote is not going to correct any inconsistencies or add any missing information to any of your references. So it's your responsibility when you bring your references in to check that everything is correct and update them to make sure that they will be able to be used properly. And to do that, just click on a single reference, and you'll see this section on the right hand side here. Apologies if you've seen it covered over by my picture, but you'll see there are the 3 sections we referred to already: Summary, Edit, and PDF. If I go to Edit, all the various sections are there. You can go in and make any changes that you need, and then just click on the Save button. I had promised to show you also what the PDF looks like. So thanks to us using PDFs to bring in references, the PDF, we have some references with PDF. And if I click on one of those and then click on the PDF folder, or link, I should say, rather, there is the PDF. It's too small to read, but if you look at the top, you'll see there's a square with an outward facing arrow. Just click on that, and that will give you a bigger version of the article. And then you can read the article on the screen. When you're finished, just click on X to save it, and you'll be back to this screen again. So now that we've got our references into our EndNote library and have organized them, the last thing we have to do is get our references from our EndNote library and into a Word document. So here I've opened up Microsoft Word. I'm going to put some random text on the screen, and you can do that just by typing =rand, open brackets, close brackets, and then just pressing return. And that will give you this text. If EndNote has worked properly, you should see a new EndNote toolbar at the very top of your screen. So click on that, and I'm going to use this toolbar to insert references into your EndNote library. And it's very simple to add references. Just put your cursor where you want to insert the references. Go to the Insert Citation option in the EndNote toolbar, click on it, you'll get a search box. So we put loads of references for James Joyce, so I'm just going to search for Joyce to find those references. And there they are. And then I can click multiple references by holding down Control and then click Insert. And there we have the references going in our chosen referencing style. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's the references being put into your EndNote library. It's that simple to insert references. If you have decided that you have put the wrong reference in, don't just highlight the reference and delete it like you would normally in a Word document. You have to use the EndNote tools to safely remove it. So I've just clicked on the citations I've put in already, and EndNote will highlight them to make them clear. And then if I go to Edit and Manage Citations, they're listed there. So if I wanted to get rid of one of those references, I could just click on the title, go over to the right-hand side and click on the triangle beside Edit Reference, and then click on Remove Citation, and then click OK. And that reference is safely removed. On the other hand, if you had a reference and you realized you need to put another reference in the same place, you can do it in exactly the same way. Click on the citation first of all, go up to Edit and Manage Citations, click on the triangle. This time we're going to go to Insert Citations, do your search again, find your reference, click Insert, and click OK. And EndNote will make sure that it deletes any reference that has been put in there and will update everything for you. Other things that you can do in Edit and Manage Citations, if you click on it, is put page numbers in. So if you're quoting from a specific part of an article, you need to say what page that information is coming from. And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see there's 3 boxes: prefix, suffix, and pages. Don't put it in pages because it doesn't always work. So the most secure and consistent way of doing it is go into suffix and then just put comma, space, P, full stop, and your page number, and then click OK. And you'll see that page number appearing beside the citation you have chosen. If you want to change your referencing style, go to the Style drop-down menu. If the style that you want to change to isn't there, go to Select Another Style. It's an alphabetical listing, so literally scroll down. It's a long list, so I'd recommend selecting the first letter. So if I want to change this to Harvard, click H. There's a couple of specific Harvard UCD styles that you can pick. And we'll show you how to add those to your EndNote in a minute. So I can just select Harvard UCD, click OK, and it'll change on the screen for you. If you're doing a thesis and you're using EndNote, you may end up with multiple chapters, each with their own EndNote list of references at the end of each, but you're going to be combining those and printing them off in one master document. And it's very simple to do that as well. All you do is go into Convert Citations and Bibliography, go to Convert to Unformatted Citations. You'll notice that your in-text citations have changed. And at the bottom, your references have disappeared. But don't worry, all you've got to do is select all of the text and then copy and paste all of the chapters you've done this process to into a new document, and then click on Update Citations and Bibliography, and to reapply your chosen referencing style. So now instead of having 5 or 6 chapters, each with their own little bibliography, you're going to have one document with one master bibliography as well. So it's very easy to do. If you're using EndNote 20 to write an article for publication, you do have to remove the EndNote coding before you submit your article. The publishers insist on this because the EndNote coding can interfere with their desktop publishing packages. So all you have to do is click on Convert to plain text. So you do have to be careful and pay attention. So I'm being told that this document has not yet been saved. It is suggesting that I do save the document before removing the field codes. And then it asks me if I would like to save the document or continue without saving. So if you're asked to save, do save. So I'm going to select yes. I'm going to click save. And when you're finished, you will end up with two versions of the document that look identically the same. One will have all the EndNote coding in the document and they'll turn gray like you saw when we did it before. Others, like in this instance, nothing will happen. So that's the version of the document you will send off to the publisher. EndNote contains thousands of different referencing styles, but there are always instances where you might require something that is not there. It is possible to add extra referencing styles very easily. If you go to the EndNote website, and that's just endnote.com, go to support at the top of the screen. And then go to downloads. You'll see there's a section there called output styles. Just click on add output styles. Put in a keyword for the output style that you want to use. So let's say it is Vancouver. And click search. It'll give you all the various Vancouvers. Just click on download. And once again, in Chrome, you'll see this file appearing. And all you have to do is click on that. It'll open up in EndNote. And then you just go to File, Save As. And click Save. And then that style will be available for you in EndNote. I also said there were some specific UCD referencing styles, and you'll find those if you go to the library website. Go to Guides and Help. That's at the top of every library web page. Go to I'm a Student and the Study Skills section. Then you'll see EndNote. And in the section called Further Help and Support, scroll on down, you'll see the UCD output styles. And just as you did on the endnote.com website, just click on those to save them, and then you can open them up in EndNote and save them to your computer. So we've got Harvard UCD, Harvard UCD Research, and the only difference in those is the number of authors that are displayed at the end of your document. In Harvard UCD, it only displays the first three, and then every other author is represented by et al. In Harvard UCD Research, it displays all the authors. So this guide here is going to be useful for you. It's always a good place to check in and look for support. On the home page, you will find my contact details, so you can always contact me at any stage, and there's loads of information. Also on the Further Help and Support, there are guides to help you as well. So make sure you use those to support you. We hope you found this tutorial useful and that has answered some of, if not all of your questions for EndNote. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can contact me by emailing me at dermot.stokes@ucd.ie, or you can ring me at 716-6572. Thank you very much and hope you enjoy EndNote.